we're gonna discuss about how to build sentiment analysis for YouTube video transcripts. Okay, so it's on a high level view. Like what we're gonna discuss is we're gonna taking the YouTube videos, we'll fetch those transcripts out, and then we'll create a sentiment analysis on top of it. Okay, yeah. So I'm really excited to walk you through this because this is an amazing tool for understanding the feeling and the emotion behind those comments and conversation. Okay, so I'm really excited about how we're gonna discuss and go through the code and all sorts of thing over there. Okay, so our journey begins with extracting the transcripts from the YouTube videos. Okay, and then we'll apply some handy API tools from LangChain, which is the, what you can say, like Whisper API and many more like that. Okay, so I think it sounds complicated to you, but it is very not so very overwhelming. But at the same point of time, it is very easy and convenient to use those things, right? So we're gonna quickly move through. I'll share my screen, okay, and we're gonna quickly move through those topics, right? So just give me a second. Yeah. So so if you see, right, yeah, so if you see, right, so we're going to develop a machine learning pipeline for sentiment analysis using YouTube transcripts, okay, which include the extraction and pre-processing of the data and transcripts. Okay, then what we're going to discuss is we're going to do the sampling, the sentiment labeling for that using the Distil BERT library, and in the end we're going to train the XLNet model for the pre-processed text, right? So it's the description written about that thing like extraction, transcripts, right? Then in the second point we're going to discuss about the transcript pre-processing, then to create the sentiment analysis label. Okay, and then create the testing model, which is the XLNet model where we're going to train. And then what we're going to discuss is basically we're going to score those data and then compare the metrics on top of it, right? So in the first step we're going to import some of the libraries, which includes the LangChain and, what you can say, the PyTubes, which will help us to extract the speech, uh, which what you can say, like, which gonna discuss. And so we're gonna pass the YouTube URL. Okay, and then that YouTube URL will, what that gonna do is basically it will extract from speech to text conversion happens over there. Okay, and it gonna give us the captions, or you can say transcripts for that, right? So this is a YouTube video that we are having, right? And then we are loading all those data out. Okay, and from here you can see, so this is the data that what we are getting, right? After that we are going to discuss about some of the pre-processing that we're going to take over here, right? We are using the sentence tokenizer. So this is a whole text that we're getting, and in this tutorial, in this text here, the guy is discussing about so wait yeah, so the guy is discussing about how to use the zoom video and all sorts of things, right? So at each point what we did is we did the sentence tokenization. Okay, and this is how the text looks like, and then we create the label for this text, okay, using the BERT sentiment analysis or Distil BERT, what you can say, topic modeling kind of stuff over there, right? And then we create the excellent model of on top of it, right? And in the end, what you can do, you can serve that model using MLflow and any other service as a microservices, right? And integrate it in it any external tools, right? So this is the pre-processing that we are doing over here, right? If you see here, we have used the Distil BERT model. We have installed this out. Okay, we use that sentiment label classifier, right? Now, so basic stuff that what we are doing. Okay, so these are the sentiment that what we are getting. Okay, and in the later part what we are having is basically um, so if you see over here, right, we did, here comes to the next part, right? So next up, we are going to discuss about some of the emotional context to our sentence using Distil BERT. Think of it as a given as a is sentence as a sentiment label and is a critical step before we build our model, right? In the next step, what we loaded is basically here comes the fun part. Okay, the training of our sentiment model using the XLNet. I'll explain how the model works and how it will take our pre-processed text and sentiment analysis label, right? It's like teaching your computers to understand feelings, right? So this is, we have taken the model checkpoint, we pass it to the tokenizer, right? After that, this is how the tokenizer looks like, and it will having the attention marks and the input IDs also, right? Now, so this is this is the custom data class that we derived. So in this the data set that what we are having is, we are having when we pass that data set towards the tokenizer, it looks like the target tokenizer and the max length columns. Okay, and in the end we are returning those things out, and this is what we are getting in the end, right? So return will be the review input IDs in a this dictionary format, right? After that is basically evaluating the model. So here we train the model for 10 epochs, right? We have passed the different type of no decays parameters, the bias, layer norms bias, okay. Optimizer we have passed, which is ADMW, right? And then what we are having is the total step. It's basically how many step it will take to train the model, and the scheduler part, right? After that, what we are having is basically we train the model for 10 epochs, and this is how it looks like. This is the code for the evaluation when we evaluate the model using the training and the validation score, right? So this is how the epochs look like. Yeah, so we train the model for three epochs because we are having the memory constraint over here and also the computing constraint. So that how it looks like, right? This is the scoring of the model that we did. Okay, so it's very simple, not that much complicated. So we save the our model, okay, then we load again back here. So we have stored it in this location, okay, and then we again call that model from that storage point, okay. And this is the labeling of the data that what we're doing, right? And this is the sentiment, what you can say, the testing of what we have trained on, okay. So if you see over here that these are the testing data set that we have pointed out. Mangoes are very delicious, so it turns out to be positive, right? Think am I an idiot, so, or I can't do anything right. When you make mistake, or at work when we are doing something a bit careless, like forgetting your wallet at home, for instance. So this is the sentence that what we have passed on, and it tells us that this is a negative sentence, right? So far we have discussed about the evaluating model performance, saving the trained model, right? Scoring the data, how we do it, how we did it, okay. So it's very simple, not that much tedious. And if you integrate the ML flow with it, you can use this model to register, to track your different models. You can register your model, okay, to do the inferencing, as well as you can serve your model. You can serve on the external sources, for example Insomnia or Postman, right? So you can hit that from the external resources also, and use this model as an microservices, right? So in the conclusion, okay, this is a complete guide for building your sentiment model analysis pipeline, and it's a very powerful tool with application beyond YouTube. It, and I encourage you to give it a try. Okay, so that's all from my side. Thank you so much for joining with me today. Okay, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I love to hear more about your experiences and any questions you might